Hello, my little friends. Welcome to the Littlestory channel. I'm Bella. Have fun and learn with today's story. Remember, every story has something special to teach you. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell so you won't miss the new stories. Shall we begin? Once upon a time, on the edge of a small town, there stood an old house that seemed completely normal all year round. It had large windows, a crooked roof, and creaky wooden steps, but it never scared anyone. Some children even dared each other to touch the peeling paint during the day. But as Halloween approached, whispers of strange happenings began to swirl around that house. What could it be? The townsfolk would whisper. Every Halloween night, a chilling rumor spread. They said the old house grew eyes, big, shining eyes that watched anyone who came near. But that wasn't all. They claimed it sprouted a mouth with sharp wooden teeth, like a monster ready to bite anyone who dared to get too close. Is that really true? The children asked, their eyes wide with curiosity. When Halloween finally arrived, the house became the most popular spot in the neighborhood. It was draped in cobwebs, dim lights flickering inside, and mysterious sounds rustling in the chilly night. It was the only house with a bowl of candy left on the steps, inviting anyone to come closer. The bowl was filled with treats, delicious candies unlike any the children had ever tasted. But here lay the dilemma. Almost no one had the courage to climb the creaky steps and take one. What happens if someone dares to go there? The children pondered aloud. The bravest among them would inch forward, challenging one another, holding their breath, their eyes glued to the house, waiting to see if it would really change. And sometimes, just sometimes, someone would scream, "Did you see that?" I think it blinked. The house, silent and still, seemed almost alive in the darkness. But was it real? Or was it just a story made up? The mystery of the old house hung in the air every Halloween, waiting for the next group of brave children to approach it. Perhaps one day, someone would finally discover if the house truly transformed into a monster. Or maybe, it would always keep its secret, watching, waiting, and hiding its truth until the next Halloween night. As Halloween night wore on, the group of children gathered near the house seemed to grow. Each carried a pumpkin lantern, lighting the path as they approached and whispered about the spooky stories they had heard. "Did you hear that the house ate Jake's bike last year?" one of them asked, wide-eyed. Another replied, somewhat uncertain, "They say it only gets like this on Halloween, so there's no danger, right?" They exchanged nervous glances, hearts racing and palms sweaty. They were getting closer to the porch steps, and the candy sparkled in the bowl, beckoning them. A bolder boy took the first step, his trembling hand reaching for the sweets. But just before he could touch them, a creak echoed through the night. Everyone jumped back, but soon realized nothing seemed to have changed. Just the old house, shrouded in its mysterious silence. Gaining a bit more courage, a girl stepped forward. "Maybe it's all just a made-up story," she said, trying to reassure herself and the group. Suddenly, a shadow flitted past the window of the house. It looked like a pair of eyes blinking inside, shining in the dark, and a mouth forming in the shadows of the porch, as if the house were smiling at them. The children recoiled, fear creeping back into their hearts. And, like a chilling whisper that passed through the group, someone asked, "Is the house alive? Does it really want to catch us?" A cold breeze swept through the night, rustling the dry leaves and making the wooden steps creak. It felt as if the house was calling them, silently waiting to see who would dare to enter. The candy remained there, untouched, and the challenge hung in the air. Would any of them have the courage to grab a piece of candy? Was the house waiting for that moment to reveal its true secret? In the end, no one knew for sure what the house would do. But perhaps, on the next Halloween night, someone would finally uncover the mystery of that dark house, which always watched and never moved. As the children hesitated, they began to hear whispers coming from the house. It was as if the walls were murmuring secrets, telling forgotten tales of children who had dared to draw near. The feeling that the house was alive intensified, and fear grew like a shadow around them. Suddenly, a light began to flicker in the windows, casting dancing shadows on the ground. One of the boys, with newfound courage, decided it was time to investigate. "I'm going to the door," he shouted, more to himself than to the others. Just as he was about to move, one of the pumpkin lanterns extinguished on its own, plunging everything into an even deeper darkness. The children exchanged wide-eyed glances, their faces pale in the glow of the remaining lanterns. "What was that?" a girl whispered, looking around with a mix of fear and curiosity. The group began to murmur, debating whether they should stay or leave. Doubt hung in the air, but the desire to know more about the house drew them in like a spell. With a hesitant step, the boy moved toward the door. As he got close, a gust of wind blew, sending leaves flying and slamming the door shut. The sound echoed like thunder, and the house seemed to shudder. At that moment, the others began to retreat, but the boy was frozen, his eyes locked on the entrance. The door creaked open slowly, as if stretching after a long sleep. Inside, the walls were cloaked in shadows that seemed to writhe, and the scent of something sweet yet rotten lingered in the air. Suddenly, a distant laugh echoed, reverberating through the hallways of the house. It was a laugh that made the hairs on the back of the children's necks stand up. "Did anyone hear that?" asked a girl, the fear now evident on her face. "Let's go," shouted a boy, tugging at his friend's arm. But instead of backing away, the children turned toward the door, which was now wide open. A flash of light illuminated a corner of the room, revealing what appeared to be a table filled with candy, bright, colorful sweets that looked almost magical. "But what if the house really eats us?" one of the children asked, her heart racing. The boy in front spoke with determination. "We can't let fear control us. Let's see what happens. It might just be a story." However, as he spoke, the house seemed to respond to his words. The walls began to contort, and the windows opened and closed with a supernatural force. The eyes on the facade now shone brightly, and the mouth spread into a wide, sinister grin, revealing sharp teeth like blades. The children felt a shiver run down their spines. "What's happening?" screamed one of them as the house let out a deep roar, as if protesting their audacity. In an instant, the atmosphere turned heavy, and the lanterns began to flicker, as if the energy was draining. Yet, instead of running away, the children stood there, rooted by mystery and curiosity. And so, unaware of what the house would do next, the group faced the question lingering in their minds: what if what we fear the most is actually what we need to understand in order to be free? The story of the magical, frightening house continued, and Halloween was far from over. What would be the next step for those children? Would the house accept them, or would it reveal itself as the monster everyone feared? The questions hung in the air, as the mystery deepened, waiting for the courage of those daring enough to discover the truth. The children, still paralyzed by fear and curiosity, heard a noise coming from the back of the house. It sounded like something was dragging across the floor. They exchanged glances, their hearts racing, but instead of running away, they decided to move forward together, joining forces. When they reached the end of the hallway, the light from a lantern revealed a familiar figure, the old Morris, the owner of the house. With a playful smile, he greeted them. "Ah, you've arrived. I was waiting for you." The children were confused. "Morris? What's going on?" "The house, it was alive." He laughed, a warm laugh that dispelled some of the fear they felt. "No, my young friends, there's nothing supernatural here. Every year, I prepare this house for Halloween. I like to give everyone a good scare, but the truth is that I just want you to have fun." The children breathed a sigh of relief, laughing nervously. Morris continued, "I decorate the house with tricks and stories so that you have the courage to face your fears. Halloween is a magical time, and I love seeing you all having fun and learning." "But what about the eyes? And the mouth?" one of the girls asked, still intrigued. "They're just decorations. The house may look scary, but it's just a way for me to have fun and get everyone to think about what really matters, facing fear and enjoying life." Now understanding the true intention behind the spooky decor, the children began to laugh and explore the house, filled with treats and tricks prepared by Morris. The fear that once held them captive was replaced by joy and camaraderie as they joined in their adventures. As the night went on, they realized that what seemed terrifying was actually a celebration of courage and friendship. They learned that facing the unknown can be frightening, but it can also lead to wonderful discoveries. Lessons from the story. Facing fears, sometimes, what we fear the most isn't as scary as it seems. Confronting our fears can reveal pleasant surprises. Communication and understanding, often, things we don't understand can generate fear. Talking and asking questions can help us see situations differently. The importance of fun, celebrating moments in a playful and creative way, like Halloween, can strengthen bonds and create valuable memories. The magic of friendship, being with friends during challenging times makes everything easier and more enjoyable. Togetherness can transform fear into joy. So, as the children enjoyed the festivities, Morris's house was no longer a place of dread but a symbol of courage, friendship, and the magic of Halloween. Each year, the stories and laughter multiplied, and the house became a home for fun rather than a monster. And who knows what else old Morris might prepare for next Halloween. Did you enjoy today's episode? If so, please give the video a like and leave a comment below. Tell me what you learned. Share it with your friends so they can join our adventure too. Also, check out this story here, it's amazing. Trust me,